Hi there, and welcome to the Gear4music studio. My name is Rick, and today we're checking out the WarmAudio Warm Bender Fuzz pedal. Now, I've not had a chance to actually look at this pedal, so this is going to be my first impressions. But let's have a look at those together so we make sure we know what we're doing. So, we've got three different types of fuzz pedals here. You've got the NOS 75, which is a 2-transistor fuzz pedal emulation. We've got the NOS 76, which is a 3-transistor fuzz emulation. And then we've got the silicone, which is a more modern sound that they've put on there. We've also got attack, which is your distortion level, and you've got your level, which is just your level overall. On the back, you've got a sag button, which emulates what would happen with the normal pedals when the battery was starting to run low. It would have this kind of saggy kind of sound, which you can actually turn that on and off if you want to as well. So we're going to go from that pedal into a quad cortex, which is using a twin vibrato setting. And we've also got this UA Heavenly reverb pedal, so we can have a listen to some lead stuff with the reverb afterwards as well. Cool, let's jump in. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go through all three of the tones. We're going to start with the 75, then do the 76, and then do the silicone. I've put the dials directly straight up at 12 o'clock. That'll give us an indication of what type of sound we're going to get. And it is going into my quad cortex, but it's right at the beginning of the chain. So with fuzz pedals, I've found that if you put it at the beginning of your chain, you're not going to have any issues and you're going to get the perfect tone out of your fuzz pedal. You're not going to have any of that degradation of sound. Cool. So this is my clean tone. And this is the NOS 75. Cool, so that's kind of like your vintage Velcro-y kind of fuzz, really gritty, can really get some kind of vintage sounds out of that one. Now, let's try it on the 76. Okay, so that one doesn't quite have as much fuzz. I'm just going to turn the attack up on that just to give us a little bit more drive. Cool. So yeah, we're kind of getting into your more modern territory there. Standard kind of fuzz sounds, which is just a little bit more user-friendly for me. Kind of more for your kind of chorusy or your kind of your main fuzzy sound, not like a solo or anything like that. Okay, let's move on to the silicone. Move this back up to 12 o'clock. Okay, cool. So yeah, there we're getting into your really clean territory. It's not quite as fuzzy. It's kind of moving more into your distortion territory. So realistically, when you're moving in between those two different settings, it's just going from your most vintage to your most more modern type of sounding in your fuzz pedals. Cool. So let's mess around again with the more 70 or with the more vintage sound. Try and get some really kind of dirty, gritty kind of sounds. Okay, so yeah, as you can hear, that's quite Velcro-y. It's quite vintage. You know, it would be really cool for like your Queens of the Stone Age kind of lead type of thing. Realistically, any kind of vintage kind of sounds. I probably, again, wouldn't use that for, say, your main kind of rhythm, kind of distortion, overdrive kind of sound. But yeah, I know you can get those other sounds with the other settings on the pedal. Cool, so let's move back to the 76. I think that's probably my favorite of the three. We'll just crank up the gain a little bit and also the level and see how that sounds. Yeah, I think that's probably kind of the type of sound that I would most likely use. It's kind of like you're getting your vintage vibes of your fuzz, but you're also getting a little bit more clarity, and it's just a little bit more succinct. Let's try out the silicone one for the last time. I think the silicone might be even a little bit better. Say, for instance, if you're playing something like octaves, trying to do a bit of a drone sound to kind of get that fuzz, like, pumpkin-y kind of thing. Yeah, as I was saying, I think that is really something that you could use for kind of something that might be a little bit more articulate, that you need to actually push out a little bit more. And realistically, the pedal itself gives you all of the different flavors of fuzz that you're probably ever going to need. All right, so now we're going to hear what the fuzzes sound like with a little bit of reverb. I've got the Universal Audio Heavenly here, and we're going to start off with the Nos 75, see how that sounds. Obviously, that last one was very gritty, very Velcro-y. It does make it a little bit more difficult to play, but it does give you that really vintagey sound. Let's jump to the 76 and see how that sounds. Cool. So yeah, as you can hear, that's just a little bit more my flavor. It's a bit easier to play. Still gives you that kind of vintagey sound, but it's also just giving you just a little bit more clarity. Okay, last but not least, we've got the silicone. Let's see how that one sounds. So there you have it. There is my first play of the WarmAudio Warm Bender fuzz pedal. Now, as you can hear, you do have an array of fuzz sounds that you can get. You've got that real Velcro-y kind of fuzz, and then it goes all the way up to your more modern fuzz sounds. So realistically, everything in between. Did you like how it sounded? Let us know in the comments below. If you've got another favorite fuzz pedal, again, let us know in the comments below. And if you've liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. My name is Rick. I'll see you next time.